All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are here back on the virtual stage. This is the Authority Project. You are the project, and we want to slap authority to your name. And we have Calvin Widjaja here, and he says that he's going to help us, I guess, talk about or implement intercultural awareness so it can help our business and community much better. Is that right? Is that did I get some of that right, Calvin? Is that correct? What you're going to do for us today?
Absolutely, absolutely. I've been really looking forward to this show, and yeah, I really hope that I can give value to your audience, Brian.
Well, we shall see. We shall see on
Oh,
this episode of the Authority Project.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, feast your eyes and tune your ears. It's that time again. We are live with another episode of The Authority Project. It's the video podcast streamed on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Periscope, where we talk to digital marketers, business coaches, and creators of all kinds on how they've built authority in their field and how you can mimic their success. Developing authority, building your audience, and attracting better clients to your own business. Now, without further ado, let's bring to the virtual stage your host, Brian S. Arnold.
All right, we are back on another episode of the Authority Project. And this is Brian S. Arnold here. I have Calvin Widjaja here as well, both from the virtual stage, trying to help you out today with intercultural awareness. Yes, it's a big word. It's a big word. It's going to help your business and your community, he says. So we are live here talking about this today. And I'm excited to understand more about what this is all about, Calvin. But before we dive in, please tell us, first of all, who you are personally and then professionally.
absolutely. Okay. So, hello everyone. So, my name is Calvin, and yes, not to worry. Brian did it in one time, so I'm really, really proud of him for that. But he said my surname correctly, so hooray!
Awesome. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, why is that name sounds really unique? Is because I am actually an Indonesian. Yeah, I am an Indonesian Chinese. I'm born and raised in Indonesia until I was around 11 years of age.
Mm.
After which, I actually grew up in Singapore until my early to mid 20s. And well, I pretty much experienced the life a typical Singaporean man would have to go through, even serving the Singapore military. And well, I went through their education system. So I actually returned back to Indonesia a year before the current pandemic. So, as at that time, my parents were getting older, and I was feeling a little burnout by the working life in Singapore. So, at first, you may think that, oh, okay, you're just back to your own home country, yeah, your own
Yeah.
passport country. But it's actually a really, really, really different world. It's like it's a real 360. So it's a completely different experience. Let me tell you guys something. So there was a one time when I used the private transport system. We call it GoCar here. So when the first time I used it, the driver actually asked me within the first 5 minutes, "Hello, how are you? Have you eaten? Where are you from? Are you married?" Within the first 5 minutes, and you are like, "Excuse me."
Wow.
Even my own mom doesn't ask me if I'm married. So that was really, really a starstruck to me.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
at that time, I was wondering is that, well, I didn't handle it properly at that time.
Okay.
Is because, well, like you just came and you just want to sit, you just want to enjoy your ride. Then suddenly the driver actually already being so open about himself that
Mm,
you are wondering what is wrong with you.
right.
Afterwards, I actually got note that this is actually a culture in Indonesia.
Ah,
Is that this is how friendly people can be, how open they are. But the thing is that if you grow up in a certain way and then you are back, then suddenly it became a completely different thing to you. And the thing
right.
is that they expected you to know about it. So that is actually how I came up with my own live stream podcast. So So
Mm,
Global Citizens advocated a group called the Third Culture Kids. So well, there's multiple variations of it. So basically, third culture kids are children born of globalization, yeah, of globalism. So they are kids whose parents have either moved overseas, maybe they are kids of they are what people like to say the military brats
mm-hmm.
or children of the military,
Right.
or their parents are expatriates
Okay.
and they grow up outside of their passport country. For my
Mm,
case is I'm a variant of it is because I actually made myself a third culture kid
okay.
by
Okay.
asking my parents at the age of 11 if I can study overseas alone.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Whew.
yeah, one of the one of the ultimate blessing, and yet I think it's the curse of it, is because we all feel rootless. Is that we do not have feel that they have a sense of belonging
Mm,
in
yeah.
our own passport country, for
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And along with that, we also actually feel that we never feel want to belong anywhere because we want to be able to be connected to the global world in general.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
along with advocating this group called the Third Culture Kids, I, of course, this is my area, is intercultural, is because I've actually interviewed multiple entrepreneurs, content creators, and even missionary kids in order for them to actually tell about what is it like for them to be uprooted from where they have always been growing up, what they have always been very familiar of, and then suddenly being put in a place whereby they actually have no idea. And this is something that is really important because
Okay.
for one thing is that the world is becoming more global now. I mean, here I am talking to Brian who is on the other side of the world,
Right.
whereas here I
Right.
am.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. This is definitely an international podcast. I've had guests from all over the world. I have to change my time zones. Time zones are like
Yeah,
that's a big question. Like, what is your time zone? What's your time zone? Because I'm here. I'm here. Us every guest basically. So yeah, definitely, it's a global like everything's global now because of the internet.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, but the thing is because, well, it's not to anyone's fault, of course. It's because we humans are accustomed to a sense of familiarity. Yeah.
Yeah.
We grow up in a certain way and we grow up with certain principles. And then suddenly we were introduced to different elements that make us wonder, why are you behaving so differently? Why do you
Yeah.
need to be different? It's not that they are trying to be different. They grow up in a certain way. They are different in that sense. What they see
Yeah.
as normal, as well as being a habit, as acceptable, is that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how the world is. And, well, it's pretty interesting and pretty necessary now for us to actually be more aware of all these kind of differences.
Awesome. Awesome. So I got a couple questions for you, but I want to dive in before we get through that. Nice. This is one of my newer questions for guests. To ask you about your daily routine. What is that?
Wow. I don't have to reveal my shower time and everything, right?
No, no, no.
Yeah, so my daily routine, yes. Okay, so yeah, I'm usually up by around 5 to 7 ish.
Okay.
Yep. Usually my day start with a jog for half an hour or
Okay.
so. And before I run, I will do two things. I will drink a glass of warm water. And it's actually like to cleanse yourself, it's to activate some of the system.
Mm, okay.
And afterwards, I'll take a shower. Then, well, I'll continue my run for half an hour or so. Then, well, after which I actually will, well, I will actually be praying. So I'm a Buddhist.
Okay.
So yeah, religion is really heavy here in Indonesia.
Mm,
And well, I've always been a Buddhist my entire life, but well, only when I'm back in Indonesia, these 2 years that I actually explored it a little bit more because my dad is a really religious person.
okay.
So This is what I will do. And typically this will take around 3 minutes or so. Then once I'm done, usually nowadays I have a routine whereby I will choose to do 1 to 3 things uh, that I need to do.
Mhm.
So once I, regardless of what it is, it can be as easy as editing my own podcast,
Okay.
or it can be as easy as tidying up my room. Okay, my
Okay.
apologies. Yeah, earlier I said it's
Yeah.
easy. It's definitely not an
No,
easy
yeah,
thing
not
to
always
edit
easy. Yeah, editing is not.
podcasts.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there are certain times where it can be as easy as just okay, let's just splice it up. Okay,
Yeah.
let's get it
Yeah.
done. But the thing is Brian definitely knows this a lot more than me, and well, we it's not easy sometimes. But well, it's if it's something that you love, I guess that's why I call it easy,
Yeah.
and it can be as easy as tidying up a room. I will choose 1 to 3 activities to settle in a day. If
Okay.
as long as I completed any of these three, or in fact I completed all of them, or however I feel I've done it for the day,
Okay.
then I will do anything I want to do for the rest of the day.
Great.
So
That sounds
there's
great.
no
Yeah.
specific pattern to
Yeah,
it,
that's
but
good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's all we got the routine. That's I think not much different than most people. Just make sure we get that those certain things done every day, right? So let's let's
absolutely.
let's let's dive into um why is intercultural awareness so important? Like why do you think we even need to think about that in our business or in our or for our community?
Okay. Yeah. So as I mentioned, yeah. So well, nowadays the world is becoming more global.
Yeah.
Yeah. We sad to say in 2020 there's been a lot of cases whereby race is involved in it, and
Okay. Yeah.
well, it's time for humans, for wherever you are, to actually be aware of it. Is because
Yeah.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let's say now there's a number, yeah.
Yep.
Like maybe from Brian's point of view it looked like a 9, and from my point of view it's
Hmm.
a 6.
Okay.
But the thing is that, well, why, which is the correct one? I mean, either way it's supposed to be correct. From his
Right.
view it's this way, from my point of view is this way.
Right.
The correct answer is that it's the medium, who actually created the very numbering in
Right.
the first
Right.
place on the
Right.
floor.
Hmm.
However, the thing is that because we could be incredibly defensive, we are proud of who we are, where we come from,
Right.
that well, we keep insisting this is supposed to be a 9, and for my case it's a 6.
Right.
But it's just that we have to ask actually the person who create this thing, what is the actual number?
Right.
Yeah.
We
So
just basically being sensitive to that person's like you know I guess their community because it's gonna
absolutely.
because we don't understand what their what their traditions of belief are. So we have to
Absolutely,
respect that.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Along with respecting, I actually want to add another thing, and that is adopting. You see,
Ah,
certain
okay.
practice can seem incredibly different from you, but if you apply it in everyday life, you have to find out which one is actually the most efficient, which one
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
actually the one that can get you results without
Right.
offending anyone.
Right.
So, as I mentioned, yeah, I come
Good
in,
point. Good
I
point.
went, I sit on a vehicle, and then somebody asked me the first 5 minutes is that everything about you, and you're like, what?
Right.
It's
Right.
incredible. Well, I think in their point of view, of course, is well, I'm just being friendly. I'm just trying to get to know you.
Right.
Whereas from your side, it is incredibly terrifying. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is something that is said by Shaquille O'Neal. By the way, for you guys who might not be aware, Shaq is actually a third culture kid. He grew up in
Oh,
Waldingen, West Germany, because his late father, Sergeant Harrison, is actually a military man.
I did not
So
know that.
yeah, and
I didn't know that.
I'm not sure even he knows it, but he, yeah, he actually said it before in his interview. Is that people tend to want to assume who you are based on what they see, what they hear, and what others tell them of you. So it's always best for you to actually get to know a person as who they are instead of maybe following what a media stereotype will be. Like, for example, if we didn't know any better, we will assume all Italians are plumbers like Mario and Luigi. But the thing is of course not. I mean,
Yeah.
I've met many wonderful Italians and I've had some on my show before. They are incredibly passionate individuals. So this is something that we all need to be more aware of, and this is something that we all need to be more sensitive of.
So why I would say so what can happen to a company if they don't address if you don't address this while you're building your business, building your company, what can happen destructive to you if you're not, if you're not really being sensitive to this awareness of being intercultural in this
Well,
in
for
these
one
times?
thing, it's a lot of HR issue.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Great question, Brian. So yeah, here's the thing. As I mentioned, nowadays the world is becoming more global. Yeah, and well, as we see in the recent pandemic, remote working is now a trend.
Right,
Yes.
right,
So
right.
the thing is that when you are so used, I mean, well, if a company is as big as maybe HP, yeah, or
Yeah,
maybe a big multinational company with multiple offices around the world,
yeah,
they have the authority to say, guys, this is how we've been doing it for over a decade or even more than 2 decades or so.
yeah.
We've made a lot of money. So, well, we don't really have to worry, I guess.
Mhm.
But here's the thing, if you're a company that's just a startup, you wanted to expand, you want to keep on growing, yeah?
Right.
And well, if you do not understand why there needs to be importance of this, is firstly is like I mentioned, there's gonna be some HR issue. That's one.
Yeah.
But the second one is that you are not gonna grow. For one thing, is that the beautiful part about intercultural, especially an intercultural working community, is because you are now sharing the mindset of people with different kinds of point of view. Yes,
Yeah.
there can be a lot of culture clash, there can be a lot of ideas clash, but here's is the thing. This is what makes productivity. This
Yeah.
is what creates success. So being aware of it, being sensitive about it is what will allow your corporation, okay, your entity to actually grow. And well, this is something that one of my upcoming guests has actually said before when I actually saw her in another podcast, is that
Okay.
the importance of collaboration is now an utmost necessity as compared to competition. Because
Yeah.
yeah, because the thing is that well, the world is a very competitive place now.
Yeah.
And the giant markets have already dominated it for decades or so. So you really need to know how to work with people, and even if it means you have to lay down your pride, because well, you want to keep growing, right? I mean, like whatever you're doing, whether it can be a podcast like what Brian is doing, or even any other things, it is like raising your child. You don't want that particular child to just be destroyed, be broken down. Simply it's because you are just too prideful to defend of how you've always done your stuff. You want it to keep on growing, and this is something that is really important for people to learn, for one.
So tell us, so like should we be like researching, say if you're already dealing with people who who are across the world from you, should we be researching, you know their country, their beliefs, maybe some things in their, I don't know, I'm not what you say, like things in their community, just so we can relate better to them. So maybe like, before we say something that's, insensitive, we're already catching ourselves before that happens.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question, Brian. And Well, yes, of course you can research it. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is that
Or just ask them. Is that
absolutely yes. I was waiting for you to ask me that. Yes, of course. Well, asking them and getting to know them better. That's
Mhm.
the definite thing. Is because here's the thing. There's actually an upcoming show. I can't remember what it's called. It's just let me just do a quick Google search. Scrolling. Okay, so yeah, it's a show that will star Harry Shum Jr.
Okay.
in a lead role in in a lead role and in a rom com. So he
Okay.
is going to be an Asian man, and well, the love interest is a Caucasian white woman.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
something that is in a sense a bit groundbreaking
Okay.
for us.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
because I think it's quite a stereotype that I actually got to know about this in the recent years is that, well, it seems that every portrayal of Asians that you see, especially a Chinese descent,
Okay.
is either the no kung fu or they're mathematical nerds. That is
Okay.
the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, well, it's not, guys. Why does there need to be a certain portrayal of a
Right.
certain race? I mean,
Right.
yeah, and this is something that is, well, in a sense, it could be damaging, is because when you grow up seeing that, okay, so this is how people of my skin color or even my ethnicity is supposed to be,
Yeah.
then I always have to follow it. In recent years, for example, one of my personal favorite movie is The Black Panther, which stars the late Chadwick Boseman. Yeah,
Yeah.
because well, I know that for in the African American community or even those who are from Africa, this
Yeah.
is something empowering as you see men of the same skin as you now assuming the role of a leader of a
Yeah.
of a king, and
Yeah.
yet at the same time is a defender of a nation. But for me personally, is because it teach the importance of your roots. Because for one thing, is that there was a heavy emphasis on the beauty of Wakanda in that particular movie,
Right.
and
Right.
well, it was something that really inspired me, and it is something that I feel people should be more aware of. Is because by knowing your own history, your own heritage, and like what Brian said earlier, to actually explore the other's
Yeah.
heritage in
Yeah.
order to be much more sensitive to them is
Yeah.
really important. And yes, of course, the easiest way to do it is, well, you have to ask them directly,
Right.
get to know them better.
Yeah.
Guys, uh, one of my past guests actually, he is an Italian man. He has been living in Beijing for over 20 years. Yes, he speaks Mandarin a lot fluent than me.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was really embarrassed about that. So, and at that time, he actually met a Latino for the first time, and
Wow.
well, he
Yeah.
incorrectly assumes how a
Right.
Latino is supposed to be.
Hmm.
Is because, well, what he sees of a Latino is based on what you will see in a telenovela.
Right.
So
Right.
that's not something that you would want. And at that time, it was a business dealing. So, well,
Yeah.
you don't want to make an unnecessary assumption. You don't want to create an unnecessary feud. Is
Right.
because, well, you always want to be able to get to know somebody well enough, and as a person you cannot just assume it based on their ethnicity or what you could see from a media. Just get to know the person well enough, and well, if it works with you, it works, but if not, at least you do not offend anyone, right?
Yeah. So this is actually great for business and in life in general, right?
Absolutely, and that's why it's the
Absolutely.
title itself.
Right. Exactly. So I have one last question for you.
Yep.
One last question for you, and I ask this of all of my guests, and it goes simply like this: um, people see you, they hear you, they like what you're saying here, and they have similar interests, similar goals. of doing what you're doing to people, make people aware of this global, I won't say phenomenon, but just the weird direction that we're going in, right?
Yeah.
And they want to do some of the things that you're doing as well, Calvin. So can you tell them just a little bit of what you've experienced or what you learned, and give them some advice about how they can become an authority in this space?
Okay. This is actually based on a quote with what Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. I'm not going to say the full word because this is
Right,
a G-rated podcast. Yeah.
right.
And this is how I interpret it. Choose the right kind of struggle, as nothing worth having in life is without a struggle. This is something that I actually have been trying to live by. What I mean is the right kind of struggle, yeah. So let's say, well, I mean, everybody fall in love. Everybody will like the opposite gender or the same gender. Okay, this is how the world is. We cannot judge them, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, well, sometimes it might not be the person that is the right fit for you, and in fact, this could be turned into something toxic. So if that's the case, it's time for you to leave, right? Because it's not something worth having to risk your life away in order for you to satisfy something that might not be resonate back to you. And this actually applies in everyday life. So why I use this quote to describe how to become an authority in your field is this: every single time I actually am doing my own podcast, I will obsess about everything about it. For 3 hours, I will be in front of my laptop, just staring at a screen if I have to. I'll just keep on rechecking the Wi-Fi and even my equipments, even though my equipments are functioning properly, but I am terrified about it. And there are certain times whereby, well, there are certain things that is beyond your control
Yeah.
when you are doing it.
Right.
uh like let's say when I did one episode on the day that Kobe Bryant passed away. And Kobe Bryant is one of my childhood idol, and I was wrecked when I first did that episode for the first 10 minutes or so.
Wow.
It's because, I mean, at the exact point whereby I went live, one of my best friend actually texted me about his memory, what happened at that time, how this legend impacted his own life. And
Wow.
when I look at it, I was about to bomb. I was about to cry. It's because, and I was already on camera, so I was like, I really want to be able to do something, but I can't. I don't. I can't do anything, and yet I still have to carry on doing it. So, but the thing is that I have to keep on doing it for one thing, and well, after that, when I actually posted that episode on my YouTube, I actually need to do a heavy edit on the first part. Even if I have to, I remove it. It's not because
Really?
I'm not proud of it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was on my Facebook, the whole unedited part about it.
Okay.
But on my YouTube, I need to edit it out. It's because my guest at that time was being so kind, so understanding, because she herself went through a certain pain of it when seeing this happen. And well, this was something that, I mean, you have to choose the right kind of struggle. Is because if it's something that you love, you're passionate about it,
Right.
and well, it can lead to some. You have to realize first is that, does it lead to something? If, let's say, it's not making money, it's fine, but does it impact other people's life? Does it give a value to them that money cannot give? At least there need to be something that makes you realize that it is something worth fighting for. It is something that will change people's life. If it's not, then it is something that allows you to feed your family.
Yeah.
This
I
is
love it.
something that has to be the right kind of struggle that you choose, and you have to keep on doing it. And of course, to further add to that, yeah, to keep on doing it is consistency. Consistency is everything. And well, nowadays in the era of social media, that is filled with properly cut, properly edited models and influencer.
Yeah.
You always thought that you have to have the best looks, you have to have the best kind of image,
Right.
but actually consistency beats image. Is because 1% of something is better than 100% of nothing, right? The thing
Yeah.
is that when people see your dedication, you keep on doing it, then your effort will be realized. And well, I think result beats any kind of marketing whatsoever. And well, I hope this is something that I can impart to your
Sounds
audience,
great.
right?
I love it, man. That's good stuff, man. That's great.
Thank you.
I love that. So, yeah, that's great stuff, man. Can you tell us now then where people can find you after the show?
Yeah.
Where can they look?
All right, guys. So yeah, you guys can find me on my YouTube channel. It's Global CK Tisans. It's global, and then there's a space CK Tisans. So just to let you guys know, it's when I first started this show. It's Global Citizens, and it's
Mhm.
pronounced as this way until now. And why is the spelling change? Is that because I think in my 16th episode or so, and that was actually the first TEDx speaker guest that I have. I realized that there's actually two organizations with the same name. One of them, I
Oh.
think, is a humanitarian aid, and another is a newsletter. So, okay, I don't want to get sued, but
Right,
I
right.
mean, when I got that particular guest, I thought it's some people that approach me on social media and tell them about their own stuff. Then I'm like, wow, okay. So what
Okay.
I'm doing is working. So
Gotcha.
okay,
Right.
I don't want to change it. I mean, I thought,
Right.
oh, okay, I'm picking up steam. So therefore, I decided to use my middle name and my
Okay.
initials to
Okay.
actually be part of the citizen. So I'm like, okay,
Awesome.
I can still pronounce it as that way, and yet it still sounds.
Good, good.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
so
That's awesome.
so aside from my YouTube channel, I'm much more active on my Facebook and my Instagram. So yeah, my name is Calvin Calvin Karniawan Wijaya. It's a really long name, but yeah, I hope Ryan can put it in the description
Well,
box.
we'll put it in the posting definitely for later. Definitely. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, my
Yeah.
man.
No
And
worries.
yeah, and my Instagram is Global Citizens, but the global and citizen, there's no space in between.
Okay.
Nowadays, I upload my entire full episodes on my Instagram too after it went live. So yeah, that's where you guys can catch me.
Awesome. That's great stuff, man. Great stuff. We learned something today, folks. Intercultural awareness. It's a thing. Make
Yes,
sure
guys,
that you
don't get
are
don't get into lawsuit and be much more
r-
productive in your work.
yes, yes, absolutely. Great stuff, man. And don't forget, everybody, you can chime in, go into theauthorityletter.com or text We Are Live to 44222 and join that list. I have a video series there to help you build your authority platform so you can attract better clients to your business. Get on that. There's some great, cool little videos I have on there that are, they're cool. I don't want to toot my own horn, but they're pretty cool. So that's it for me. That's it for Calvin. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. I know I did. This is great stuff because I have a person that I want to talk to that I probably want to share more, and probably he's from Pakistan. And I think I want to actually learn more about him. So I'm glad you're on the show. You're gonna push me to do that today. So thank you so much. I'm Calvin. And unless you have anything else to say, we are wrapping up today. Do you have anything else today before we get out of here?
I'm good, man. I'm just really honored to be on your podcast. I hope I have given as much as I can to your own audience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. We will see you in the next one. Take care. Be blessed. We're out.
And that's a wrap for this episode of The Authority Project. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you like what you heard, we want to hear from you. Subscribe, rate, and give an honest review. Share and tell your friends so they can hear too. And for even more authority-building tactics, be sure to sign up at theauthorityletter.com. Get free weekly content and ongoing digital product giveaways to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. We certainly hope you got a key takeaway or maybe an aha moment from today's broadcast. Just remember, it's your authority. Build it, share it, and they will come. Until next time.